You've got your sunrise, you caught a prize, your mate and your Johnson. Party nights, summer whites, you, your friends and your Johnson. Rooster tails, water trails, you, your kids and your Johnson. Saturday nights, distant lights, you, your girl and your Johnson.
You and your Johnson, a way of life for over 50 years.
Welcome guys to this new episode. I think this is episode number 4 of our series, but this is actually one of the most exciting videos that I have because today we're going to be talking about the Evinrude. One of the most amazing things that I did when getting the Evinrude Fast Twin 15 horsepower was I was able to go online and I was able to get and download pretty much the parts manuals and the part list for this particular motor. Now that's kind of crazy because if you think about it, this is an engine from 1959, so I was able to get all the documentation for this going, which gave me all the parts numbers, all the parts diagrams and installation. I'm going to show you that right now. So if you take a peek at this parts manual, right, Evinrude Super Fast Twin, there's the model 15012, 15013, and when I did a back search on this, of course, I was able to get this, and that's the same exact model. If you look, it's actually shown right here on the plate. You can't really see it, but it's shown right here on the plate of the actual Evinrude. I'll give you a zoom in on that. But what's really cool about this, it goes, it's out of order now because I've been actually using it to look at all my things, but it gives you page by page diagram with all the parts that are built into this Evinrude outboard, which makes it really cool because I can actually go into eBay and find the exact same parts based on the diagram. So I have a drawing on the magneto, crankcase and cylinders, crankshaft, carburetor, all the parts numbers for the carburetor, swivel brackets, exhaust, all the part numbers for the swivel and the exhaust, and of course the gear case and the starter unit. Now with that being said, the first thing to do is give you a walkthrough of every single component that is inside this Evinrude motor. So let's begin. First, we're gonna go ahead and open it. So to open it, it's pretty simple. Here on this side, we have a couple lever action things, a locking mechanism, and then we pop this sucker open, okay? Let me put this in frame so now we can start talking about it. Now, one of the biggest reasons of why these Evinrude motors are so classic is because they are just completely legendary and simple. The technology behind these particular motors is so simple that I actually call them the cockroach of outboard motors because they've been around since like the 40s, right? So think about this. No camshaft, no timing belts in any of the system, no valves that are opening or closing hundreds of times every single minute. It's a handful of moving parts that are worked together in precision that you cannot recreate from the 1950s. Someone's trying to come in. So today, let's take a look inside the engine. I'm gonna walk through each part of the process and walk you through how each component actually works. And with that, of course, maybe we can go back here and I can show you each particular part of the engine. So this is the cylinder right here. It's shifted sideways, okay? And this is where every bit of the horsepower is created in this outboard. Inside it, the pistons actually travel sideways. There's 2 pistons, is a 2-stroke motor. And as the piston travels, in this case left to right, that's where it starts compressing the fuel and air mixture, and essentially once it's compressed, then it fires up with the use of a spark plug. Now, let's look at the interior part of the actual piston, and I'm borrowing this video from a YouTuber. I found this awesome video. I hope you're letting me use it for educational purposes, but it is such an awesome video that it actually, let's cut away and you can actually see the pistons moving through the cycle in which fuel goes from the carburetor through the cylinder into the ignition chamber, gets compressed, and then gets fired up with a spark plug. This really, an aluminum cast is the heart of the engine. It creates the power, but it also creates the engine breathing by opening and closing the ports that are machined into the inside of this cylinder, okay? So inside here, you can't really see it, but this is what we call in the bottom here, a connector rod, okay? And this connecting rod links the pistons to the crankshaft, right? Transferring every single bit of power stroke into the rotation that eventually goes down to the propeller, okay? So the crankshaft, again, converts this sideways motion of the pistons into the spinning motion that eventually rotates the propeller. Now, a very important part, and I'll be able to point it out here, is the carburetor. The carburetor, in my view, is probably the heart of, if it's not the pistons, it's probably the main heart. If you call the pistons and the chamber of ignition the heart, then your carburetor, to me, is most likely your lungs, is where your engine breathes, right? And if you can see here, this is the carburetor, okay? And the carburetor is where the mixture of your gasoline mixes with air and gets pushed into the chamber. So when we look at the actual carburetor setup, you'll see right here, a little bit hard to see, but essentially it's a series, and this is all taken out in paper, but that's what's actually inside of this Evinrude, right? The main purpose of the carburetor, again, is through a float, right? The float controls the amount of gas that goes into the carburetor that gets sucked up through the fuel tank. Combination of gasoline and two-stroke oil, because these had no mechanisms of actually self-oiling and self-lubricating themselves. So you have to put some two-stroke oil in it through the combustion process. The float and the particular, in this case, all the different components actually control, depending on how much throttle you do, it actually suctions air and gasoline into your combustion chamber. And that's the main part of how your carburetor actually works. So let's talk a little bit about the spark plugs, okay? This mechanism of getting the spark, once you get the fuel from the carburetor into your combustion chamber, sorry, I am burning up. Jesus Christ, it's time for a cold one. Once the fuel gets injected into your pistons, in this case, it's going to get ignited by a spark that's caused and created by the spark plug. The valves inside has a series of ports. As the valves move forward, it suctions that fuel air mix into the piston. As it moves back, through a series of chambers that is transferred over to your ignition chamber. As the piston compresses and it hits the spark plug, that's when the spark happens. The piston rises, it compresses, and while in vacuum, it ignites. Very simple two-stroke engine from the 1950s that still to this day is working amazing. It's a design that has never changed. It's a design that has been consistent for many decades, century, I would say, plus of use, and that's what makes this engine so unique. But I think the main thing and the main part that I want to focus on right now is nothing more and nothing else than your magneto. So let's talk about the magneto. I'm going to show you here a quick diagram of how this magneto is set up, if I can find it, because I think this is the most important part of the engine. Here we go. Magneto. So this is your magneto setup, and I'll explain what all these different pieces mean between the flywheel and your actual magnetos that are built in with points inside of the whole setup. Let's go back to the engine. So unlike most modern engines, the 1959 Evinrude doesn't need a battery to create a spark. So everything begins right here, and you can see it right here inside the flywheel. Now, hidden inside this flywheel, are rings. Okay, so everything begins right here in the flywheel. Hidden along inside the rim are powerful permanent magnets. Every time you pull the starter rope, or once the engine is actually running and rotating, these magnets outside spin past the magnetos, which I showed you and are showing you right now on the diagram, which are built inside, mounted underneath the flywheel. Now, in a later video, we will take out the magneto and replace this so you'll be able to see how this actually works. But as the magnets sweep past the coils, okay, they create a magnetic field, all right? And this changing magnetic field, as this rotates really fast, creates electricity due to electromagnetic induction. You get induced. Just like if you were pregnant, electromagnetic induction happens right here inside this flywheel. It's a concept that is ages old. Essentially, you have two magnets that are rotating around each other. That's how generators work. You create a current, an electric current, okay? At first, the voltage is low, but as the points inside interrupt the flow of current through the primary coil, that exact moment, that coil actually collapses and generates a very large spark of voltage spark. Okay, and it's that very large voltage spark which actually sends, and you can see it here. It sends a current through these wires, which are our spark wires, which you can see right here, and they travel all around this time based on the timing, right? Because inside you'll have the points, and the points control the timing of the spark. You have a different spark plug for the top and the bottom combustion chambers, and it'll give enough current voltage to this spark plug to then generate a spark and combust the fuel that's in compression within the engine. One of the most incredible reasons as to why these classic Evinrudes earned such a humongous reputation for being so reliable. Woo! Even sitting right here in its basic form for decades. If the magnets are healthy and the flywheel turns and the points are clean and the coils are in good condition, this little engine can spark and come back to life. So it is just a simple system of magnets and coils rotating that are fixed inside this mechanism here, which is the armature plate, which is hidden inside, and then you have a flywheel with magnets that rotates on top, which makes this a system that requires no external battery, no coils, no points, no computers, no sensors, no power source. It's just brilliant engineering that continues to work. What is now 70 years later? So a truly amazing system and mechanism that we're gonna start working on. So with that said, thank you all for coming back to the video. Now let's go to the next steps.
There is much that Tom doesn't know about boats and motors. He and his Evinrude big twin are inseparable pals.